Welcome to Sistah's Place Inspiration and Entertainment Show interviews with authors, celebs, and much more with hostesses Latrice Carter and Selena Haskins.
Good evening, everyone. I am Latrice Carter from Chicago, Illinois, and my co-host, Selena.
Hello, I am Selena Haskins coming to you from Washington, D.C.
Our show this month is Women's History, and we celebrate great women, past and present. Joining us today, we will have Director DeMane Davis on the show to talk about the Netflix series premiere of Self-Made, Madam C.J. Walker's story, who was the first Black woman to become a self-made millionaire. And I am looking so forward to seeing that premiere.
Me too. And we'll also have our sisters conversation as we talk about everything that is being canceled right now due to the coronavirus. And we will also highlight Women for History Month.
Alrighty. Thank you, Selena, for that insight. Looking forward to sisters' conversations later in the show. Now, let me introduce you to a woman that I support and I celebrate her. She has been blessed with what we call the Ava effect. Directing episodes of Station 19, How to Get Away with Murder, Queen Sugar, Red Line, which I love, by the way, and so much more.
Too.
Meanwhile, I know. Meanwhile, she is no stranger to Sistah's Place. Please welcome Director DeMane Davis to the show. Hey, DeMane.
Hi. Hey, how are you?
I am doing great. So happy to have you on the show. You know, I had to go back and think about it. I was like, oh, my God, you've been on the show a couple times, which is awesome.
I'm honored to be back for a second time, so thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming, too. I mean, schedules like yours has to be so busy, so for you to take the time out for us, we really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I'll jump right into my questions. So what attracted you to the story about Madam C.J. Walker, the series Self-Made for Netflix?
Well, I learned about her in elementary school, like I think all of us did, elementary, junior high, and, she was always someone that I was really interested in, learned about her during Black History Month, of course, and just reading her story was one that I was, more attracted to than I think anyone else's. I also sort of flirted with the idea of being a hairdresser when I was younger. And my first job when I was 12, I was a gopher at a hair salon. So I used to, take out rollers and sweep up hair and get people lunch and stuff like that. So, and then my job just after college, I worked as a receptionist at a hair salon. So there was that side of it. And then there's also just the side of, what she did, what she achieved as a Black woman during that time when, they were literally still lynching people, just after slavery had been somewhat abolished. I'm using air quotes like you could see me. She had a factory, she had a sales force, she had advertising, she put her own face on the packaging, and in addition, she was a philanthropist, and she hired other women and gave them their own businesses, gave them their own agency. So, that story was really exciting. So I heard that it was going to be turned into a series, and, I like to put what I'd like out into the universe. And so I started to say, well, I want to work on it. And a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who was a director and filmmaker and a writer named Shaz Bennett, was around when I was saying it, and she told her friend, Elle Johnson, who was one of the showrunners of Madam C.J. Walker. So it's funny, I had a get-together when I was in Los Angeles, and Elle came by, and later she told me, I came by just to say hey to you and to have a conversation with you. And then, she reached out and invited me to come in and interview. for the job and pitched the idea, and I just said, look, I want to be a part of this. I have to be a part of this. You know, I'm a black woman. I have black hair. You know, this woman hustled. You know, and I come from a long line of people who hustle. You know, my mother went to night school and had 2 jobs. You know, so that's the example that I saw every day of what you had to do in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve and to just pay the bills. And that's something that I think that Madam did. You know what I mean? Like, so she had a factory and had these products, but she started out as a washerwoman. She took in boarders, and then she began to make her own product, and she went door to door selling that product. So, and these are things that she didn't stop doing until, you know, she had the factory and she was making enough money, and then she moved on and did bigger things. But she hustled. So that's what was really attractive to me about the story of her life.
Okay.
Wow,
now,
I look forward to that.
Okay. Now, this series has some amazing talent. I've seen some of the clips and some familiar faces. So how was it working with Octavia Spencer, Tiffany Haddish, and Blair Underwood? Just to name a few.
Yes, just to name a few. Miss Octavia, as I call her, was really just spectacular. She works so hard, and she's incredibly committed when she's on set, when she's doing what it is that she has to do. And she had a deep understanding and respect for this woman. You know, this isn't a character. This is a historical figure. And I really couldn't think of anyone more perfect than her to play this character. So she just took it on full force. It was amazing to see her watch. You know, I got the feeling sort of the way that I did on Queen Sugar, where sometimes I would forget to call cut because I would feel like I was just watching TV, you know. And you know, she has amazing eyes. The thing about her is, you know, having seen a lot of her work my whole life, and then getting to work with her, just her eyes are spectacular. You just fall into them, you know. They're like doe eyes. And she did one scene, and these 2 perfect tears fell down her face. And after that scene, I said, I'm going to call you 2 Tears Spencer. And she was like, okay. So, yeah, she's just really cool and real. And, you know, we had a lot of fun. Tiffany is a trip. She's great. She's a really solid actor. And she's really, you know, she really likes to make you laugh. She likes to, you know, make sure that the crew is engaged and everything. So it was great to see her in this part. I was really excited for her to get this part, especially because she had mentioned that she wanted to be in the series before it was ever going to be a series. When I went back, you know, I like to do research on as many of the actors as I can before I work with them. And I went back and read a bunch of interviews of her, and she had said, "Oh, I want to do Madam C.J. Walker." You know, that was years and years ago. So that was really cool, you know, and that also kind of reinforced that idea that I have. It's like when you put it into the universe, you say what you want, you know, you get it. So it was, you know, it was awesome to see her there and to get to work with her. And then Blair Underwood is just, I mean, come on. Blair Underwood, like he's such a gentleman, like, you know, just truly very attentive and observant and really lovely. And the scenes with he and Octavia they're just fire. And I was so happy to have. There's 3 scenes in particular that you'll see in my episodes I directed. So the series is 4 episodes. Casey Lemons directed the first 2. I directed the last 2, and we were both producers on the whole thing, Casey and I. And in my episodes, particularly, they really they had such a good time together, acting together. You could see it, you could feel it, you know. So I'm really excited for you to see those scenes. And then, of course, we had Garrett Morris, who's, you know, fantastic. Garrett was also just on Station 19. We had Kevin Carroll, who's playing Ransom, her lawyer and her confidant, and he did a job. I mean, like, he would cry, and listen, everyone would cry. The whole crew would be crying. Really amazing. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, and then Bill Bellamy, who was great, and then Carmen Ejogo, who was lovely.
Yeah.
Yep, and Bill.
Okay.
So it was really, to get to work with all of these people who I have, watched, before, loved before, read about before, was a once in a lifetime experience.
Okay. So what did you enjoy most about working on the Madam C.J. Walker's project?
I think just the idea that I got to be there the entire time for all 4 episodes, to be able to help out. I think, on set, when I'm there to serve. And so I love the idea of getting to be there with all of them and to help them, to help facilitate so that they can, everyone there could do their job. So I love that, and I love, when filming, just taking a minute to kind of like step back, like step outside of myself and really take a look at what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like you're looking at a crew with so many women of color, both in the office and on the crew. We had Kira Kelly, our director of photography. My AD was Hannah Mickelson. She was phenomenal, a first assistant director, phenomenal. I've worked with her again in a heartbeat, but I think she's going to be a director in like a minute. We had Lena Cordina, who was our line producer, who put together our spectacular crew, and then our showrunners, Elle Johnson, Janine Sherman-Berrois, and then Nicole Asher Jefferson, who's a writer, one of the writers, that came up with the idea for the show. I mean, you're talking about, majority of us, a bunch of black women who are getting to tell this story about this black woman, So I like to sort of step back and take a look and be like, okay, this is happening. This is awesome. And just be grateful for it. Because sometimes it all goes so fast. I think when you're in those moments when you're having the experience that you really wanted to experience, and it's something that you dreamed that you would have, you have to stand back and take a look at it and observe it and accept it and be grateful for it. So I did that a lot, and I took a lot of photos, but at the end of the day, I always feel like I never took enough, for everything that was going on, so I could look back and remember all the different things that happened. But that's what I like the most. And also we shot in Canada, and there are so many productions that are going on in Canada that anyone could really do anything at any time, and there are all of these different series with 10 episodes and 12 and 20 and 22, and this was just 4 episodes, but different women, because we had so many women, would come up to me and they would say, I had to do this. I had to be able to help tell Madam's story. I wanted to be able to give her her due. I read about her when I was young. I've learned about her. I've always known about her. I really, really wanted to work on this show. And they had the opportunity to work on other shows where they would have made more money, but they did this show because it was important to them. Yeah, so they all brought their passion. So what's great about that is you're dealing with a bunch of people who are already really passionate about it and really care about it, and they're invested. And that was really, really beautiful to be around and to witness. And then the fact that there's just so many women. One of the meetings we were in, the set dresser, Shane Fox, in the middle of the meeting, all of a sudden said, "Wait a minute, stop! Everybody, look! It's all women!" And we just all started applauding, which is dope.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah, it was really cool. It was a cool moment.
And I think that'll be a very thing that'll attract your audience, having so many women and so many people who they can be able to identify with, like Octavia Spencer and Tiffany Haddish, Blair Underwood. I mean, they're top billing, so to speak, but to see them bring to life an historical figure like Madam C.J. Walker is going to really teach lessons to some of the younger generations too. They need to be informed about what women have done in history too, because they hear a lot about the men being innovative and things of that nature, and women too. But it'll be good to have this movie on Netflix, a platform that a lot of young people have already gravitated towards, but to be able to watch it and get some entertainment and also become educated. I think that's great.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've often said that I wish that there could be someone would take a tally of all the female-owned businesses before March 20th and then after March 20th, after this airs, because I think that number's going to go up because there's going to be so many women and young women and girls who are inspired by her story about what she did, and by the fact that she did what she did during those times. The late 1800s, where you didn't have the kinds of resources that we have now. I mean, now you're 9-10 years old, you have a smartphone. That smartphone is basically a computer. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have any of that. You know, they didn't have indoor plumbing. Like, she got a house with indoor plumbing, and then she invited women over and said, "I'll do your hair and I'll do it free. I'll wash your hair," because that was a whole part. That was the issue. You had these women who were slaves who are now working in the homes or working as launder women, and they're wrapping their hair up, and there's no indoor plumbing. They don't have the time or the money or the actual physical water to wash their hair. In St. Louis, half the population, the black population of women there, were washer women making 5 cents a week. And so, Madam was one of them, and she had a situation where her hair was falling out, and she, made a concoction that started to make her hair grow. And then she went to other women and started to sell it and said, listen, this is a way for you to get a better job, because they couldn't get a better job because of their hair. This is a way for you to feel better about yourself. She gave them their own agency. And she said to them right off the bat, just come to my house, I'll do your hair free and give you the product. And then later she hired those women. So that's brilliant business acumen that anyone could see and learn from. And to know that she did that, a black woman at that time, and was so successful, and was the first female, not the first black female, she was the first female millionaire in the early 1900s. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? That's astounding.
Yeah. Especially having those type of limited resources, support. Her only support obviously came from other women that she knew probably, and then it just grew from there. But that took a lot of courage too, especially if you're talking about that particular era where she could have had everything taken away from her.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, you're talking about an era where we would do you're talking about era where, so there was a scene, I had a scene where two people are supposed to kiss, and the question was, well, how are they going to kiss? And it was like, well, they might just hold hands. It's you know what I mean? It's
right.
The 1800s. So now think about a woman standing up and saying, I want to own a business. You laughed out of the room. You're not even supposed to be in the room with the men. But she would go into the room with the men. Do you know what I'm saying? The fact that, and this is something that Blair says, the fact that she was known as Mrs. C.J. Walker, she took his name and she became Madam C.J. Walker when her real name was Sarah Breedlove. That's just a sign of the times. That's what you had to do back then. That's what you did back then. You know what I mean?
Wow, I forgot about that.
Think about.
Wow, you're tricking my memory now.
Right? and look, think about, there was a whole episode I did on Queen Sugar in season 3, where where Aunt Vi and Hollywood, he wanted to marry her, but she was like, I got to tell you, I don't want your name. And he was like, no, like, she struggled for this. She's like, I struggled for this name. I don't, I love you. I want to be with you, but I don't want your name. And I remember, I feel that way too, right? But I remember that was huge. So many people, Black Twitter was exploding. Like, what do you mean? She don't want this, so mean of her. And I'm like, whoa, like, it's real,
Yeah, it is real.
So
because back then it was mandatory.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything was mandatory.
You know, it was mandatory,
You're going to do this by this age. And if you don't do these things by these ages, you're an outcast. You know what I mean? You're not one of us. And so she had friends and family that were discouraging. You know, they discouraged her from doing what she did. They questioned it. They said, "No, that's never going to work. What are you talking about?" And she said, "No, it's going to work. Not only that, I want it to be bigger. I want it to be here. I want it to be better than this person did before." You know, so that takes real, true insight. That takes
courage and faith.
That's right. And to say, "I'm going to get it," the belief she had in herself. She never stopped. Truth never stopped.
And that did take a lot, yeah. I mean, if you mentioning that friends and family discouraging her, those are the people you're most closest to. You know what I mean? Right. And so to still stand your ground and stand in what you believe, that's really admirable. Really admirable.
That's right.
It really is. It really is. So now, what was it like to meet the great-granddaughter? And I hope I'm not pronouncing her name wrong. Is it Alelia Bundles? She wrote the book.
Alelia.
That was the blue. Okay, Alelia. Beautiful name.
Alelia.
She wrote the book.
I like that too.
She wrote the book. Yeah, it was the blueprint for self-made.
Right.
What was that like? You got to meet her, correct?
Yeah, I got to meet her. So she, you know, we heard that she was coming to set, and then, you know, it's great, you know, it's hectic on set. So I didn't remember the day that she was coming, and then I remember I walked into, it was lunch, and Lena Cordina, our line producer, was sitting next to this woman, and I just saw the back of her head, and her hair was gorgeous. Her hair is like silvery white, and it's so long, and it's natural, and she puts it in these beautiful buns and styles, the way she puts it up. And of course, you would think like, yeah, her hair's gonna be banging. Like her hair is banging. So, but I looked, I wasn't sure who that was, and I was like, oh, who's that woman? And then she turned a little bit to the side, and I was like, oh my God, it's Alelia Bundles. It's Miss Bundles. What a joy! What a wonderful, incredible person who has seen and experienced so much and has been generous enough to share it with us by writing this book and by, you know, what I say is she's a keeper of the light. She keeps Madam alive. So it was wonderful to meet her there, and all the actors and, you know, the crew really loved having her there. She was on set for a couple of days. You just see in between takes, actors are going over to her talking, you know, and she's telling us stories, and, you know, it was really wonderful. When we did a photo shoot a couple of months ago in Los Angeles, and I got to spend a little bit more time with her. I have some amazing photos of her that I'm going to share on social media next week. And, you know, and she and I keep in touch now, which is like, that's just the gift that keeps on giving, you know. She's adamant about telling the story, making sure people tell the story, and making sure the right people tell those stories. And I'm so glad that she decided to tell Madam so that we have it. And her book, On Your Own Ground, is an incredible book, not just about Madam, but about all of the people that she met with, you know, in her life, from Booker T. Washington to, I'm going to space on her name right now. I'll come back to it. I'll think of it later. But she's met so many incredible people who we know who are part of Black history, that she then, you know, collaborated with in terms of, like, you know, rights for people and the anti-lynching bill that just came to fruition literally like last month. You know what I mean? Like she signed in the paper, you know, with other leading Black figures to you know, try to get a handle on that. So the book really encompasses all of that. It encompasses all of the history around that time, so you really get the chance to understand what it is that she was up against and what she overcame to do what she did.
Okay. And that's good. She's the one who could tell it too, because she was in those moments. You know, she had that direct experience that she can pass along. You know, and especially, you know, other people trying to tell your your history, secondhand knowledge. It's not necessarily the same, but I'm sure like you having her there on the set just probably, it sounds like it just energized you even more to bring forth her truth, and that's just amazing.
Right, and she had, access to, her home, her clothes, all of her papers. She's seen things that no one else saw. So, really, the other thing it does is it encourages you to write your story, which I think everyone should write their story, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
That is wonderful.
Yes, it is. Now, on another note, you're back on Station 19, and I do watch it, too, on ABC. How does that make you feel to come back to directing another season on Station 19 and working with some awesome actors?
Yeah, that cast is so lovely, and the crew is so great. It's awesome. It's it's repeat business. You know what I mean? If someone likes you, they invite you back, so it feels really good for them to ask to have me back, and I love them. And all those actors are they're so dedicated. They have the ability to, if they wanted to, the tanks that they're wearing, right? The O2 tanks that they're wearing on their backs, those could be fake, but they want to wear the real ones. And the real ones,
they want to be the real firefighter.
It's 20 pounds. It changes because they know, it's going to change how they run. If they run, it's going to change how they walk. It's going to change how they carry themselves. So they're like, no, give me the real one. And I'm like, oh, you sure we're only doing this? Like, nope, they want the real one. And I remember when I got on that show, when they have the scuba, they have all the masks on and everything, right? I thought that they added the sound effect later. That sound of the, right? No, they're real. That's real.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, no, they're really taking in oxygen while they're acting and doing their lines. All of it is real. So I was floored, and then, of course, the turnouts, their overalls and the jackets and everything, that's 15 pounds right there. So you're talking about an additional 40 pounds, 40 to 50 pounds that they're wearing when they're in these suits, you know what I mean, for these scenes where they're putting out, fires, and then they're not real fires, so.
Good grief.
I love I love the dedication, and I love their spirit, and they're all so much fun, and the show is great. Paris Barclay was the executive producer and producing director, who has directed over 100, maybe 150 episodes of television, who was a name when I was little. I used to see it on the TV, and I'd be like, Paris Barclay, wow, and I just love the name, So the fact that I got to meet him and that he invited me to come back, not for one season, but for another season to direct, I just feel honored.
Well, congratulations.
So there. Thank you so much. I'm not sure when my episode's the second to last one for the season.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think they're only on 5, so there's a ways to go before mine comes on.
That's
I have my DVR set.
That's right.
I have my DVR set, so I make sure, if I get home later, I can just turn it back on. Okay, let me just hit push play. Yes. Now, I know Selena has a few questions of her own that she want to ask you before we wrap up with you.
So, DeMane, I am a movie buff, and I just love hearing you mention all the people who are involved in, the different production aspects, from photography to, who were the executive producers. I love hearing that. I'm probably one of those people who watch all the credits at the end of a movie.
I'm one of those people, too, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. I wanted to know, as a director, well, first I'll say one thing that I notice when I watch movies is that every director seems to have their own style. For instance, Spike Lee, he loves those boom shots and bright colors and the musical, theatrical bits that he kind of throws in. And then, with Ava DuVernay, she's one thing I notice about her is scenery is her thing. She has a subtle way of drawing her audience in through the scene itself. She paints the picture first, and she has such a delicate perspective on things. What would you say is your style as far as how you direct, and how much of that would you say, is some of your personality, perhaps?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if I have any particular style. Yeah, I mean, I think what I like to do is I like for you to be with. Ooh, it's got a motorcycle. Sorry, I'm in a car. I like for you to be. I like for you to be with the characters as much as possible. So, whether that means like getting, really close to them, or if you're seeing their POV, their point of view, so that you can really feel like you understand. I think, that was really important for Madam, because, there's a lot that's said in the book, in A'Lelia Bundles, in Miss Bundles' book. There's a lot of information, and there's a lot that's said, but you can only imagine what it was like in those quiet moments, what she's going through, being this person who's, taken on all of these things, and also taken on the weight of them, of deciding to be a trailblazer, so I would do a lot to just sort of be with her, so you could feel like you're in her head, and you understand why she's doing what she's doing and making the decisions that she's made,
Right.
I think maybe that's sort of what I do. I try to, I think every job is different, every script, every role, every actor, and every character that they're playing is different, but I do like to, for you to know when that character is really happy or really sad or really moved by something in their quiet moments. I like to try to have quiet moments with them.
Well, that's a good thing. And in fact, that leads me to my next question. Have you ever came across a talent that may not fit a main role, but more like a supporting cast member? And how much does a director play in a situation like that? And would they encourage a switch in that instance, or is that left up to the executive producers of the movie?
That depends really on whether or not I'm a producer and a director, or if I'm a director. So a lot of times, being a director, like on assignment on a show, the casting is already set up, or they'll say, here are the people, and I get a vote, and then a bunch of other people get a vote, because there's the writer, there's the showrunner, there are a bunch of different producers, there's executive producers, so everyone gets a say. And the reality in that is that I'm just a guest, and, these characters are going to go on and do different things. Some of the things I'm not even privy to. Some characters might come on and you think that's a day player, one who's just there for one episode, and maybe the writers and the audience have such a great response to that character that they put them in for longer. So, when I'm there, I'm really just sort of that flow. I let the material go through me, but I do definitely, I do love casting, and I love,
Hello?
I'll tell you
for, Oh, okay, I hear you now. You kind of went out a little bit, DeMane.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you, for Lift, originally we had someone else slated for that role, and they pulled out, and then Kerry Washington came in, and she read for the role of Camille, which is Nisi, the main character in Lift, which was my second independent feature film. Nisi was the main character, but Kerry came in to read for the friend, and right away I was like, "Can you read this?" And she was incredible, So sometimes you just and I think for me, I feel like that was all completely meant to be, and we ended up casting her, and that was her first solo feature role. So, but I think
it worked
a lot of
itself
times,
out.
yeah, it did. It works itself out. But a lot of times, it's when it's in my hands and when I have the ability to pick, I love being able to make those choices and being able to add to, the full painting that you're going to be able to see in the end. And, it all depends, because it depends on the actor too when they come in. It depends on the material. But that's a really fun part for me. That and the filming and the editing, those are the main parts. Those are the really fun parts for me.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Have you, with TV and movies being like a really big deal now, like with having multiple series on different shows and platforms, do you think that there will be more streaming options in the future, similar to a Netflix or Prime? I mean, of course we have apps, we have like own app, BET Plus, and so forth, but they still come under a bigger platform. Do you think that there will be others in the future and maybe something Black-owned and for it to maybe be as big as a Netflix or a Prime?
Yeah, I mean, I hope there will be. I think that would be the goal. I think that would be ideal. And I think there are only going to be more. That's just the way that we're going, and that's the way of the world right now, watching, on phones or laptops or, just different screens that aren't a television screen, and, people not having full cable packages and just having those apps or just having Netflix. So I definitely think we're going in that direction for sure.
Oh, yeah. So besides directing, what do you like to do for fun, and do you have any favorite movies or shows?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, of course, I love Queen Sugar. That's like my main. I'm very excited. They just started filming season 5 in New Orleans, so that'll be coming back soon, which is great. I have some inside information which I cannot share with you, so I'm very proud of myself for being able to keep a secret. I'm also really enjoying Cherish the Day on right now. But sometimes I get mad. I get a little mad, get a little mad at them. Talking to the screen. I really enjoyed Ramy on Hulu, Ramy. I really enjoyed that series. It's half hour. Ramy Youssef is a great comedian and writer who's on that show. Oh, okay. And his name, Carmichael. The comedian who created the Carmichael Show was one of the producers on that. And
I remember that show.
The second season, Mahershala Ali is going to be on Ramy, so that's going to be awesome.
I know Mahershala Ali. Oh my goodness, he is brilliant.
Yeah, he's incredible. It's really incredible. I'm excited for Insecure to come back and to see that. What else? I haven't watched. I have the new episode of Boomerang, but I haven't seen that just yet. Just finished watching The Outsider on HBO, which was really scary. I could only watch it during the day. It was so scary for me. But it was good. I thought I was a little concerned about where it was going. I was like, all right, this ended pretty well. So yeah, I don't get to watch as much as I would like, but I love watching, and I do enjoy binging, but I also think there's something to be said for like when you get to see like a good hour, half hour of television, and then you're forced to wait the next week. I think there's something really cool about that, and it gives you time to
it builds anticipation.
Speculate. Yeah, and you can sort of speculate and think about it and figure it out, and then all of a sudden, it's next week, and you're like, oh yeah, it's back. You're really excited for it. So, I would say that there are a lot of shows out there a lot of talented people. Just encourage people to watch those shows, to broaden their scope of the shows that they watch, and to hopefully pay for those shows and pay for the movies. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Actually go and see the movie, or pay for the service and watch the movie, because it's a lot of people that worked really hard on it. So that's one of my things. I always pay for movies, television, and music. So because being an artist and being a creative person and having other creative people and craftspeople in my life and understanding what it takes to put into that product, I want to respect that process.
We totally understand that, especially Latrice and I, right, Latrice? We kind of do a little bit of everything artistically, Latrice and I.
Yeah.
So we definitely understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So, DeMane, thank you so much for being on the show today. The premiere on Netflix, Self-Made, Madam C.J. Walker, premieres March 20th, and is directed and produced, correct, by DeMane Davis and Cassie Lemons. So, guys, be sure. Casey, I'm sorry. Casey Lemons. And I was saying it in my head, and it didn't come out that way. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
So you guys be sure to check that out. I like to make this trending on Netflix because, that's what we do. DeMane, thank you so much. I support you all the way.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, too.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me back, and thank you for the podcast and the work that you do. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your support. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to reach out and follow you on Twitter and Facebook like Latrice.
Okay.
Yes. This my girl. She doing her thing. She keeps a smile on my face. Very, very proud. I'm inspired, Latrice. You have to keep in touch with DeMane. I see why she's been on the show more than once. I mean, I enjoyed this conversation.
That's a coveted spot. I'm glad I got in there twice.
Yes. I'm like, is it over already? I was enjoying myself.
I'm glad you were enjoying myself. Oh, and I did the second to last episode of How to Get Away with Murder, which will be out, I think it's the second week in April.
You said How to Get Away with Murder?
Yeah. The show's ending this season, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Got me over here, right. Man.
But thank you both so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
We thank you, and you be safe out there now.
Yeah.
Be safe.
You guys too.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
All right.
Take care, you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Wow. That was just a phenomenal interview.
It was.
One of my favorites. She's one of my favorite people to talk to. DeMane Davis is great. Women's History Month, that's what we're doing. We're celebrating women who have made a path for generations to come. I really think the past, the women from the past who, made history, they've paved a way for women today who are making a path for future generations, like Ava DuVernay, Oprah Winfrey, who was the first woman and black woman to own her own network. I think that's what it is.
People forget about that too, Latrice.
Yes, they do. Cicely Tyson, this woman, she's in her 90s, and little black girls can look at television and go, they can do television or film because she's done both. She's done Broadway. They put such a positive, strong image out there. Shonda Rhimes, who, she's on a major network, she's had so many shows on one major network. That right there says a lot for more women who want to be create their own shows. You know, if you don't see something on television or film, create it yourself. And then, of course, I have to put DeMane Davis in this category because I've been a big fan of hers, and just watching her grow and broaden her horizon has been truly amazing. And Selena, I will send you. I have an extra copy of Lift that she gifted me, so I'll make sure I send you that extra copy that I have.
Please do. Yes.
I will.
She is a sweetheart, honey. I was enjoying myself. She was just sharing so much information. I love that. I love when people don't mind sharing.
Yes. And so, and I'm looking forward to watching Self-Made. And like she said,
me too.
I wonder how many more women businesses are going to be started after March 20th.
That's right. I mean, that movie will let other women know that you can do it. If Madam C.J. Walker could do it in those times, like DeMane was saying,
yes,
we got far more resources today than we did back then. We can do it, and we can support each other. You know, we can support each other doing it.
Absolutely. Yep. Now, are y'all ready for Sistah's conversation? We ain't gonna make it long, but we gotta talk about this tonight. Selena.
Oh my goodness. This coronavirus, not corona like a beer. This coronavirus is serious, y'all. So the question is, Latrice, do you think this is a biochemical error that went wrong? Because I'm hearing so many things.
Oh my God. You know what? It makes you wonder because, I started researching and just reading, and I'm like, something's not right. And a coworker of mine, we were talking, and he was saying how there's only so many biochemical labs around the world, and he got the naming the 4, and I was like, isn't that interesting? It's interesting how there's a biochemical lab in that part in Asia. There's one in Canada. There's 2 here in the U.S. or whatever. And I'm like, that's really, weird and ironic. And so it makes you wonder if it got leaked by, either accident or on purpose. Because
I know. And just to think, here's the thing, though, the CDC in China, they knew about this for over a month. Yes. They knew about this, and they didn't tell anyone.
Yes. That's why I said conspiracy, biochemical error that went wrong, or conspiracy. And I say conspiracy because, okay, I sent you a link. I don't know if you checked it out. There's this author who published this book about 39 years ago. It's called The Eyes of Darkness. And ironically, in his story, the Wuhan virus that came out in 2020, and it started in China. Doesn't that seem a little ironic to you?
There were a lot of commonalities with that, and I saw it was a news article that did some comparisons to try to, they tried to downplay the book, actually. Did you see that?
Yes. Yes, I did. Because so many people are highlighting exact things that, like, well, this happened in 2020. This is 2020, but they wrote this book in 1981. And in the book, it said it will start in Wuhan, China, and it happened in Wuhan, China. So it just, so is this a conspiracy? What's really going on? And then the government responsibility and the media hype, the media hysteria. I want to say that because people are panicking. They're stocking up on tissue and water like like the world is ending.
They are. They faint out of fear, girls. Look, anytime you have to go to a Lowe's to buy toilet paper, that's ridiculous. That's what we had to do.
We
went to the Lowe's. Because the grocery stores were out of toilet paper and tissue, your basic sanitary supply needs. Come on now. That was the only place left to get what you need. Whew.
Oh,
That's where we are right now. That's where we are. And so now Trump has called a state of emergency. So,
yes, he has. But you know what? The government's reaction is so slow. I mean, we're in March. This happened in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's there has to be some accountability, and I'm just not buying that this was just a fluke. You know,
right.
I do think it's some type of biochemical error that went wrong, and they're trying to cover it up. But unfortunately, it's a little hard to cover something up that has spread. You know.
And it's sad because so many lives have been lost.
Yes.
You know, so many lives have been lost because of this disease. It's just terrible, you know. And for the ones that are currently out there right now suffering from this, and I just hope you all will pull through. I hope you all will pull through, and I hope that they find a cure for this. I'm a little skeptical of a vaccine, only because the same place where it started is going to do a vaccine. So me personally, I'm a little leery. That's not to discourage you if you choose to get the vaccination on that. That's up to you. That's a personal decision. But me personally, I would just feel uncomfortable knowing that the same place this came from, now you want to inject me with it in hopes that I don't get it. I'm just leery.
Yeah, right. Now, I know Argo Laboratories here in Illinois, they were coming up with a antibiotic, but they said that won't be available for a year. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. We need the antibiotic now, not in a year. Because they're still testing on rats. So I'm like, okay, y'all need to test on the patients that are sick. The people who are sick, to see if that works, you know. Because, you know, and it needs to be free. This doesn't need to be something that people have to pay for. You know?
Well, there should be clinical trials using the people that you said are sick. Using maybe, I don't know how they do the ratios, but there definitely should be clinical trials for the people who already have the disease. I definitely agree with you, you know, and then to see if it actually works.
Yep.
So, that's where we are right now. It's sad.
That is where we are, and it's sad. So I really want to just, you know, close out Sistah's conversations with this. Be safe. Don't panic. Don't live by fear. Live by faith. And stay healthy and stay safe. And wash your hands. It shouldn't take for an epidemic like this to come about for y'all to wash your hands. This should be a normal practice. This should not be new. You know, not being funny or anything, but all of our parents taught us taught us hygiene. So practicing good hygiene will keep you healthy and keep you alive with this epidemic that's out.
Yes. So may you all find comfort in your higher power, whatever it is you believe that's going to keep you encouraged during these days. And definitely draw closer to your families and friends and call and check on them. This is the time. A lot of people are teleworking from home. Now is the time to not just be bombarded with social media, but start calling them relatives that you don't talk to often and see how they're doing. So this is the time to
elders.
Reconnect. That's it. Call your elders. See how they doing.
Call your elders. Because I call my mama every day.
Mine too.
Girl, I know she probably tired of me, but like, girl, I just talked to you. I know, but what you doing?
And that's how it should be. You got one mother, okay? So I got one mother, and so we have to check on the elderly, our elder ones. We have to see how people are doing. You know, this is the time for all of us to pull together and draw closer, because 2020 this year, it has not started off very well. I mean, think about it.
Oh my goodness.
We're not even 3 months in. We're not even 3 months into 2020. And I'm ready to hit a redo button. Yes.
I know, right? Redo, restart. Let's come into the new year all over again. Because
maybe this is the opportunity, guys. Yes. Maybe this is that opportunity to hit a reset button. That's my say.
What's that song? Guys? Trying to tell you something.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a election year. So this is wow. See, you know what? It just hit me. This is probably going to be another topic, but this is an election year. It's so ironic how this virus came out during election year. That's a whole nother conversation.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Things that make you go,
and that is, doesn't it? It's going to make you go, wow, that is something else. But we're going to have to talk about that on another show for sure.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Latrice, I am Latrice Carter, and my co-host, Selena Haskins. We want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you guys follow us on social media, on all our social channels. If you missed the show, don't worry. You can catch it on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spreaker Network, and so many more, and YouTube as well. So, hey, check us out. And if you want to be on the show, send an email to latrice@sistersplace.com for more details. And until next time, be safe and stay healthy.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.